Well, for more analysis, let's now cross to the US, where reporter Amitoj Singh joins us via Skype from New York. Good evening, Amitoj. You were at the Capitol last week when these riots took place. How has the mood towards the president shifted since then?
Well, thanks for having me, Janice. Well, let's look at that in two parts. When I was there on the day, it was, just unimaginable what was happening. The next morning, I spoke to a lot of Trump supporters. And from that point on, let's take a look at what's happened in D.C. and the rest of America. In D.C., well, it's a war zone. The Capitol building area is a green zone. There are 15,000 National Armed Guards there, and that's basically double of what America has in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Syria. And I was in Iraq in 2019 December, so I know what I'm talking about. It's not a pretty picture, and people I've been talking to, whoever lives around the area, they can't even get there in an Uber. They have to walk. As for what's happening in the rest of the country, well, we're talking about a country that's deeply divided, the Democrats and Republicans. The Democrats who voted for Biden, well, it's a wake-up call for them. They have come to understand how much of an effect Donald Trump has had on his supporters and what really needs to be done about that. Do they have an answer to that? Perhaps not. And the Republicans, we're talking about Trump supporters and the others. The Trump supporters are feeling two things, and I reconnected with some of them, actually, and they said that they are both depressed and disappointed. Disappointed because their president is not going to be the next president, and depressed because they've been deplatformed. They just don't have that oxygen of communication that they had through, all those dark web areas where they were communicating, although they are moving very swiftly to Telegram and Signal.
Amitoj, you mentioned there that DC looks like a war zone. You're talking about a country divided, but Republicans in the past few days have been pushing this call for healing. But has anyone made significant progress on that front?
Well, if you pose that question to some Nobel Peace Prize winners, I think they'll be dumbfounded. Unity in America at this point in time is very difficult. Has anyone made any significant progress? Well, not really. Just think about this. More than 130 voted to overturn the election in the Republican Party. 197, even after the insurrection, have gone ahead and decided that, well, they don't think Donald Trump needs to be impeached. And that's not because essentially they believe Donald Trump shouldn't be impeached so close to the end of his term. It's also because of Trumpism, the fear of Trumpism, the fact that he literally holds the reins of the Republican Party. And that is why, if you're talking about being at the Rod Laver Arena playing some tennis, then think about it like this. You have Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump playing, and Joe Biden is basically watching as a fan. You have a situation where Mitch McConnell, the Senate Majority Leader, soon to be Minority Leader, the biggest apex predator within the Republican Party. And I'm not saying this. This has actually been said by Howard Feynman, who was the first president, who was the first journalist to actually interview the president after 9/11 back then. He said that Mitch McConnell is an apex predator who only attacks when he knows he's going to actually win, and he's going to get his prey. And I'm saying this because this is an opportunity for him to take back the Republican Party at a time when Trump basically decides what happens. 70% of Republicans still support Donald Trump. And we're talking about a people, and I'm telling you this because I spoke to a lot of these, Republican supporters, the pro-Trump extremists, you can call them that. Right now, they will be going ahead for those armed protests planned between the 17th and 20th. They will be at the capitals. How many of them? We don't know. There will be a deterrence. But at the end of the day, the big lie has been believed by them, and there is no easy answer to just change that, make them not believe it. America doesn't have trust right now.
Thanks so much for your analysis. That's Amitoj Singh reporting from New York. And later in the